Hola and welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us to our special YouTube live here about Fulbright opportunities in Brazil for U.S. scholars and U.S. students. I am Bruna Passos Amaral and will be your moderator for today, and I am thrilled to be joined by our amazing guest who works directly to make this international exchange and all these opportunities happen from the Brazilian side. So, welcome, and please quickly introduce yourself to everyone watching us, Patricia.
So hi, Bruna. Hi, everyone. It's very nice to be here today. I am the program manager with the Fulbright Commission in Brazil. I manage the U.S. citizens programs with an important and strong team behind me. And okay, I'm here to answer your questions and say something about our programs. Thank you.
Thank you for this very quick introduction, Patricia. Just for everyone who's watching, this is going to be recorded and you can watch it afterwards in case anyone could not watch it right now. And we will divide our session in two parts. First, we're going to explore the opportunities for US scholars. We're talking about researchers, faculty, professionals, artists, and then we'll move on to programs for US students, from undergrads to grad students. We'll also have some times for your questions. So everyone who's watching us can already start saying hi in the chat for us and dropping us a message there. We're going to be answering questions by the end of our live. So you can start chatting as we go. So let's begin with the programs for US scholars, professors, researchers, postdocs, and professionals. Could you start giving us a little bit of an overview of our programs, Patricia?
Sorry, my mic. Sure, Bruna. So the Fulbright program has started in Brazil in 1957. And since then, we've been promoting the program for Brazilians to the US, about 5,000 Brazilians going to the US throughout this time, and about 4,000 US citizens coming to Brazil to study, to do research, to act as English teaching assistants. And now we are talking about the current cycle, applications for the current cycle, where we have applications. We are very proud to talk about our slots for US citizens in Brazil, more specifically for US scholars and US students. So Bruna, can I go on and talk about the US Scholar Program?
We can start with a presentation to help people visualize what are the opportunities and what are all the requirements for them to apply.
Yes. So yeah, we have a total of for the research and teaching or research scholars 53 awards. I think I'd like to talk about our All Disciplines Awards, which are open for scholars in all fields, in any levels, and they can propose projects in any part of Brazil. It's a very exciting opportunity that you can be here in Brazil for 4 months at the most, usually one semester, or it can be less than that. It can be 2 months or even 1 month if you split your 2 months grant into 2 visits. But we can talk about these options later. We have also the Distinguished Scholar Awards that are these Distinguished Scholar Awards are more specific. They are for seasoned scholars in areas like medical science, arts and design, social innovation, marine science, innovative materials. We have also for international relations and law and political science. We have others too. And these distinguished award opportunities They are an agreement that the Commission has with certain universities in Brazil. So in this case, for distinguished scholars, you don't have the option of selecting the host institution. You have to see the award description, because there is a specific host institution depending on the area you want to pursue your project. And then let me see here our PowerPoint. Okay, Bruno, I'd like to talk about our baby, the newly launched postdoctoral awards. Yes, this one. We have 10 grants in the institutions that you can see in this slide there. They are institutions in the state of São Paulo. These 10 awards are open in all fields for scholars who have just obtained their PhD degrees, and it's an opportunity for them to join our program through this new award in Brazil. You have to have up to 7 years of experience. There is a good stipend and travel allowance. By the way, we have a good, I think, competitive benefits package, because especially now that comparing using the exchange rate between the US dollar and the Brazilian reais, and our offer in terms of financially speaking, our stipend is a good one. So I think the moment would be very ideal for anyone to apply and consider these opportunities in Brazil. I think I'd like to add that we have the Fulbright Commission in Brazil has a long-lasting and strong partnership with the Brazilian government that makes it possible for us to offer those generous grants, and also in terms of number, because in total they are 93 grants. For if we compare the whole program for US citizens in Brazil, so not only scholars but also for students. So this is thanks to our agreement, to the support the Brazilian Commission receives from the Brazilian government.
Great. And should we talk a little bit more about what is the Flex Award? Because I feel this is not only a very important question, but it's also something that can be very relevant for people wanting to apply for programs like the All Disciplines or the Distinguished Scholar Program.
Yes, Bruna, it's something that I wanted to get back to. So thanks for raising this. The Flex opportunity or the Flex awards allow the grantee to come to Brazil for 2 visits. They have the option to split their visit into 2 visits of equal length. So for a grant of 4 months, they can be in Brazil for 2 months, and the following year or a couple of months later, the other 2 months to continue the visit. I think this option is ideal for those who can't be away for their professional commitments. I'm sorry. And so they can split their time here. And there is also the possibility of doing shorter programs, shorter visits. Then in this case, the candidate would select the option for a 2 months Flex grant and indicate that they would like to be in Brazil for 1 month at a certain time, and another month at later in the future, following our calendar. There is a certain time between July 2026 and September 2027 to implement the grant, for the grantee be here and do their work and finish the program by September 2027. So the flex option is the opportunity to split the visit into 2 stays here.
Yeah, which is a very great improvement that the Commission in Brazil created to allow people to be able to take this opportunity in Brazil and still have their commitments with universities or with their research institutions in the U.S. So one, I feel a few other things that are important to recapitulate when we're talking about the scholar program is that those programs don't necessarily require Portuguese, isn't it?
Correct. Generally speaking, candidates can apply without having Portuguese language skills. So in many universities, you can do your research with English, but of course, it is important that you verify, that you check with your host in Brazil that this is possible. Sometimes depending on what you want to do, depending on your project plans, if you need, for example, to interview people, and if those people are in communities that are far from big cities, sometimes you'll not find people that can speak English and you have to rely on someone else, or you have to learn some Portuguese. But that's something that you can discuss with your host professor in Brazil. But generally speaking, you don't need to prove that you can speak Portuguese. You can apply without having skills in the language.
And other things that are important to know when people are applying are regarding the calendar of universities in Brazil, because not everybody knows when normally universities here have recess, or when is the time when you can start your program. Could you talk to us a little bit more about that?
Okay. Yeah, the academic year traditionally goes from February to November, December. And of course, during the holidays, there is a break. But at the graduate level, these calendars are more flexible, and it depends a lot on what you want to do here in terms of the kind of engagement you need, because when you talk about academic calendars, we think about students being in class, but in many cases, we are talking about professors and researchers going to labs or doing other research, and you don't need necessarily to rely on the academic calendar. The institutions will be open, and except for the recess between Christmas and New Year, when things usually close. Sometimes there is a break in July, but that depends a lot on where you are going. This calendar can also be different depending on the region. So don't think much about the calendar. What you have to do is discuss the possibility, your research possibility, and everything else that it entails with your host professor.
Great, thank you so much. So we spoke about the 3 programs that we have for scholars, for U.S. scholars in Brazil, and now we are going. Oh, one important thing, we didn't talk about deadlines. When are normally the deadlines for the U.S. scholar programs in Brazil?
Okay, the deadline for submissions for the U.S. Scholar Program is approaching. It's on December. Oh, no, not December. please erase that. It's on September 15th. So you still have less than a month, and we hope you will still consider applying. And then we have a period where reviewers and the commission and the US side of the program is going to work on your submission papers, on your application and everything else. So the results, the final results, usually we can release them by April next year, no longer than that, no later than that. But there is this period of time where you don't hear anything. Sometimes in December, you can hear from the US side of the program, from IIE that manages the application, if you have been selected for the final stages. Final stages mean when your application is sent to us here in Brazil, when we are going to complete the selection and know who's going to be the selectee for the current cycle.
Great. So now, thank you so much. I hope you guys got most of your questions answered about the US Scholar Program from Fulbright to come to Brazil. And then now we're going to be talking about the student program. So Patricia, could you give us an overview of what are the programs for students in Brazil and what is the profile of applicants and everything else?
Okay, so I see that you have one of the programs on screen now. I can start with the English teaching assistantship. Oh, both are there. Yeah. So we have the English teaching assistant program, to which we offer 10 grants per year. And we have what we call student research grant, where we offer 30 grants per year. So I think I'll start with the student research. It's a program where students are expected to conduct research of a topic of their own choice. It's open to any area, any discipline of interest. It's open to students who have just graduated or students who are pursuing their graduate degrees. So if you are, for example, a PhD student and would like to consider a Fulbright grant, you can do that. You just cannot apply if you have received your degree already. So if you are a doctor already, you are not eligible anymore to apply to a student program. Then you have to consider the postdoctoral opportunity that we talked briefly. But going back here, candidates for the Study and Research Awards, they usually submit a project of their own, and they also find their host institution. So a letter from a potential host institution is part of the application, and it means that this candidate is going to select where he or she is going to study and where he or she is going to stay in Brazil. We don't interfere with that. Our selection looks at everything, including why such location was indicated, chosen by the student to do their research. So I can talk something about language here too, that differently from the US Scholar Program, in this case, we require that the student uh, show some evidence that they have some knowledge of Portuguese. So usually we set intermediate level of Portuguese or advanced Spanish, and you have to show that in your application that by the beginning of the grant, not by the application deadline, but by the beginning of the grant, you will have intermediate Portuguese to be in Brazil and to develop your proposal. So that is necessary. And following here the slides on screen, these grants that we are talking about, they are 9 months long. They follow the US academic calendar. So candidates who are considering applying now in this cycle, they have until October 7 to apply. And then again, by March next year, they will hear from the Commission about the final selection, and they will, if selected, they will start the program about a year from now, September next year. That's when the program will start for the final candidates. What else, Bruna?
Yeah, I think for the study and research program, we're good. As the people, I mean, probably it's important to know that people are committing to staying the entire 9 months doing the program, because this program does not offer for flex options like the scholar programs.
No, good point. No, it's like a period of 9 months. You have a right to take vacations, 14 days of vacation, but no flex choice here. It's just 9 months. It's
Great.
different.
And our next program is the English Teaching Assistantship Program.
Yes. So here we offer 10 grants per year, differently from the study and research program. For the English teaching assistants, the Commission in Brazil, knows beforehand where those ETAs, we call the English Teaching Assistant ETA program. So we know where the ETA grantees are going to stay during the grant, because we have universities that have been selected by the Brazilian government to host the ETAs during a certain period of time. So we work with these institutions, these universities in Brazil, which were selected by the Brazilian government to host ETAs, to receive the ETAs in their courses, in their sometimes different schools. And so meaning that the ETA doesn't they haven't the option during the application to indicate any preference or to say, this is where I'm going to develop my project. There isn't such language for the ETAs. And talking about language, ETAs also need to show in their application that by the beginning of the grant, they will have advanced Portuguese skills. So it's, again, I want to reinforce, it's not by the application deadline, it's by the beginning of the grant. So you are, let's say you are considering applying now, you realize you don't have enough Portuguese, you still can apply, but you have to include in your application information that you are going to start learning Portuguese, how you are going to do that, show a plan that you can understand if you have an interest in you, that we can see that, okay, this person doesn't speak Portuguese today or by the time of the application, but has this commitment of learning the language for the beginning of the grant. So don't give up if this would be the case for you. Something also that I think I can say here is that we place ETAs in pairs. So they are two ETAs together in one same institution. This way, one can give support to the other and make plans together. So it's one detail about the program that I think it's important also to share here.
What about the teaching experience that they need to show?
I was going to say something. we don't when considering the program, you don't necessarily need to have a degree in teaching, but of course we have some preference if you have some experience in teaching. If you have a degree, let's say in language, in linguistics, in education, in other fields that can be related to teaching, can be also a degree in another language other than your first language. This is also well received by the Brazilian Commission when reviewing applications, because you've been, in the shoes of someone learning a second language and can relate to a Brazilian student learning English. And also, you don't necessarily need to be thinking about becoming a teacher, a professor. You just want to have the ETA experience for other reasons, and that's when you are going to explain those reasons in your application. And we also welcome these other skills that you want to explore, to learn as an ETA in Brazil, even if they are not directly related to teaching or to having a teaching career.
Great. And I think this is everything we had about the student programs. What are the deadlines for the student programs? Because the deadline is different from the scholars program.
Yeah. So the deadline for both students program, study and research and English teaching assistants, the deadline is October 7. I recommend that you look at the websites, because in the website you'll find interesting, important guidelines and a step-by-step scheme that can help you put your application together, and you see what reviewers expect from a good application. And so I think you wouldn't like to miss this information. Going back to the website, not only to check deadline, language requirements, or placement information, but also how to submit a strong application.
Great. And if anyone watching us has any questions, we have here on the screen more information where to direct you, depending on the type of questions you have. The team in Brazil can help you with a few of the questions, and then our partners at IIE can help you with a few other questions. And you can also visit our website at fulbright.org.br awards for US citizens, where you find all the awards that Fulbright has for this year, coming year, and whenever you want to apply to our programs. And we would like to thank you all, everyone, for being here with us. Thank you, Patricia. And do I don't know, should we ask like a few common questions that people ask about the application, like how does a student or a scholar, how do they approach an institution in Brazil? Do you guys like have a list? Can you guys help them finding that, or is it something that they have to do on their own?
Okay. We are talking now, your question is about these students, right?
Mm-hmm.
This question. Well, we can help them, but they have to start something on their own before asking for our help, because sometimes their requests can be very, very broad in any area, and it takes us time to understand what is the need there. So it's important that the student explore some avenues before they see that, okay, I'm not getting anywhere, maybe I need someone's help, and then that's when we can jump in and help them find some connections. But for us to start from scratch is very difficult sometimes, because we have to know more about the project and what that entails, and sometimes we are not able to help to that extent. I see a question here, Bruna,
Yeah.
if I may. There was a question about preference for certain cities. It's true that some time ago, the Commission had a preference for projects in other cities other than Rio, São Paulo, Salvador. But now we have removed that. What do we call that issue, and we are open to projects anywhere. So if that is your case, don't hesitate to submit your project to Rio or São Paulo, Salvador. Of course, you have to show to us why that place is so important, why you have to develop a project there and not anywhere else.
And another question about preference in the scholar program. The other question is if teaching or research is prioritized in the scholars award. Is one preferred?
No. This is of the scholars' choice. We don't have any preference to that. Not at all.
Good.
Oh, this is a very important question about current governmental priorities. It's important that you think about that when writing your project, because we can ignore those priorities, regardless if we are talking here about Fulbright in Brazil, Fulbright funded by the Brazilian government. At the end of the day, we are Fulbright, and the rules apply, the preference applies to everyone. So you have to look at those priorities first thing. It's a very important question.
Great. There's another question. Is it better to propose a new project or join an existing project that a group of scholars are working on at a Brazilian institution?
For the Fulbright, it doesn't matter. This is very much the applicant has to know what is better to them, and explain and show the highlights. And So we really don't, we'll look at this, but not in a way that this can be in favor or can be a con.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Anything else in your mind, Patricia, that we should talk about? Anything that we might have missed in giving people advice on applying?
Well, I before we finish, I want to say that to recommend that you look very carefully at the awards descriptions, that you read them maybe more than once, because information is there, and we don't want anyone to then disqualify because they didn't see something important. Of course, verify your eligibility for the program you want to apply. There are certain things that can count against your eligibility, like not having U.S. citizenship, or having had a very recent award. Like if you want to apply to the Scholar Award and you've been a scholar in less than 2 years, you are not allowed, you're not eligible to reapply now. There are some things that you have to check. And I think I also want to say that you can contact us sometimes just to make sure your understanding is correct about the information you read, about the description, about the requirements. We always try to be very clear in the language we use there, but sometimes we get questions that we see that our message wasn't as clear as we thought it was. So it's important, if you want to check anything, do that. And don't get discouraged by something if you think that the award doesn't fit you, doesn't fit your profile. Ask us, and of course, sometimes you have to try again next year or postpone your application. But if you are unsure about anything, it's better check, and we are here to help you with your decision and with your application.
Great. We hope we brought you some useful information that will help you on deciding to apply to Fulbright Brazil. There's still a few weeks going for both the scholars and the student programs. And if you can watch the entire transmission from the beginning, just wait a few seconds. By the moment we finish it here, on the same link, you'll be able to watch it again, and you can contact us on the emails that we provided. We also left all the links in the chat and on the video's description. And thank you so much, everyone, for being here with us today. And thank you, Patricia, for everything.
Sure. Thank you, Bruna. Thank you, everyone.
Obrigada, and boa sorte with your applications.
Sim. Tchau, tchau.